Okay, everyone, welcome to Electronic Revolution's ongoing coverage of Total War World in Conflict. This is our second broadcast of the demo. Last week, if you guys tuned in, the 51st did beat the 186th 2 maps to 0. They won a total of 3 maps. You guys didn't see the televised first one. Just to get things going right off the bat in honor of those who were victims of 9/11. We're going to have a moment of silence for just a bit, so I ask that everyone that's tuning in and that's broadcasting with me, Baron and Chad, just take a quick moment of silence in honor of those who have fallen in the 9/11 tragedy. Okay, now just getting into the action. It's the same map as last week. It's on Seaside. Pretty normal map. You got your standard spots. You got in the middle of the town, you got Town Square. In the top left of the map, you have Supermarket on the United States side. Over on the top right on the United States side, you have the gas station. Flanking on the far left, you have the beach with two capture points. On the left side of the Soviet spawn, it's TV station, and on the top right, it is at the research facility. I'd like to introduce my co-caster for this evening, Baron. What's going on?
Not much. Good evening, ladies and gents.
Baron's gonna be, just filling in dead air with me, just helping me out when things go on the opposite side, and we'll just be going back and forth. So that's basically it. I'm gonna give the word to Airborne to live things up. Baron, you got anything you want to say for tonight? Any predictions or anything?
Well, I gotta predict the Russians, man. They got the armor, they got the talent. Go Motherland.
Indeed, Motherland. Yeah, I agree with you. The 51st won last week, and I remember from the beta they won a couple of matches as well, pretty convincingly. I think they'll have a good chance tonight. And we're going to be going live in just a bit right now. A quick little roster rundown for you guys. On the 51st, we have Mav22, Sergeant Bob, Plexity, Plaza Inc., Black Seal, and Big Cracker. Over on the United States side, we have Rescue, Desecrator, 75, Von Small, Trekker, Freet, who's always been doing this. He's been in every match so far, and Raid JTC. So some new faces on the sides of both teams, the 51st and the 186th. It's on Seaside, like I said before. Pretty small map compared to the beta maps. Farmland and Hometown were a lot bigger compared to this one. It's a lot of action right in the middle of the town square. The 3 points are definitely a big hotspot, and also you see a lot of action over at the beach and up at the research facility. So it's a lot of space in this. You can see shots being fired already in the middle of the town. Some heavy attack helicopters just trying to take out some anti-air and some heavy tanks, just to weaken them up for the United States side. Any initial thoughts going in right now, Baron? Because they are just coming out right now. Any interesting strategies you've seen on the side of the 51st?
Well, I'm seeing the Russians really don't have much in the way of artillery support, which has me wondering. But they seem very heavy on the infantry use.
Yeah, they seem to be using a lot of infantry. I'm seeing them coming to the town right now. They're going to be getting in those buildings. Remember, there is a lot of shelter for that infantry in the middle of the town, so they'll be able to hide in there and take a couple extra hits. First, I believe that it was a tank drop right there, has been dropped courtesy of the 186th on Mav22, wiping out some of his tanks. Nothing really going on right now. Soviets are in control of the total domination bar. It's working in their way pretty heavily right now. It's going down about once every 5 seconds. They have a lot of points on the map, actually. They have the entire town square, they have the research facility, and they have the TV station. Nobody's capped the beach yet, something that I'm pretty surprised on. If I'm the Soviets right now, I'd be pushing some tanks or some heavy anti-air over in that way to get that and just begin that total domination bar going all the way down. And as you can see, the United States right now creeping back in to things. Total domination bar is now going over onto their side, and they do cap the TV station as well. The United States does, so total domination bar is going to go over even more for them. Nothing really big going on right now. The United States just lost the TV station. However, they did pick up some points in the total domination bar. And I believe, yes, the United States has now taken the beach, so the United States is going to go start ticking down heavily on a total domination bar. And if I'm not 51st right now, I definitely got to make a total push over to the beach and get those 2 points, because those are crucial for me. As we can see, total domination bar definitely going down fast for the Soviets. They better start doing something soon. We got about 13 minutes left on the clock. Baron, anything interesting you've seen so far?
Well, the Americans just seem to have made a push on the research facility, and the Russians seems to be responding with some light tanks, an anti-air unit, and a retreating engineer squad. Sorry, repair vehicle.
Yeah, looks like the United States making a heavy push up into the research facility. The Soviets have, in that research facility, you can put 3 groups of infantry, and there it is, a napalm dropped right in the middle of that town, wiping out 2 of the 51st units of infantry right there in the building. So, great napalm strike right there, courtesy of von Small. And looks like the United States has taken the research facility, although there is Soviet forces inside of it. That building will be blown up shortly. If they drop another bomb, I believe that'll wipe it out. Soviets wiping out right now with two heavy tanks, or not heavy tanks, but heavy helicopters, wiping out the beach's machine gun nest. However, the United States is going to come over and keep those 2 points. It's pretty dominating right now on the side of the 186th. The total domination bar is pretty heavily over on this side in favor for the United States. If you guys have any shout-outs, I'm going to be taking those today in IRC. That's in pound e-rev on the Game Search Network to e-rev CSS 2020 with shout-outs at the end of my name. I'm not doing Counter-Strike source, but you know how to get them in, and yeah. And also, while you're at it, if you're tuned in on our stream at www.e-rev.tv, make sure you register for our forums. Check that out. Make a post you saying, you know, you like the cast, you love the cast, you don't like the cast. Either way, it's all good. Just check out our forums at www.e-rev.tv. And a push over on the beach right now by the Soviets. Baron, what's going on over there?
Well, it appears as if we have one Soviet heavy tank, which has just met an American heavy tank, and looks like the Yanks are sending in 2 M1 Abrams to clean up that T-80.
Yeah, a whole bunch of shots being fired over at the beach right now. I just minimized to check my stuff, and there it is. Bombs being dropped right there, wiping out those tanks for the Russians, and the beach is going to be capped by the United States again. We got about 10 minutes and 40 seconds left on the clock in this first round. It is best of 3 tonight, unless there's a blowout in the first 2 and the matches are going really fast. Then we'll go to a best of 5. Otherwise, it's best of 3 on the same map. There's only one map in the demo, unless you pre-ordered. I believe there is runes as well, but we're just going to be playing on Seaside tonight, so they'll restart it as, fuel air bomb over at the research facility by the 51st. A second one being dropped, and then some cluster bombs as well. Just a whole bunch of artillery going off over at the research facility, wiping out 3 of the 186 total units right there. So the research facility is going to be wide open right now for the Soviets to take and try and get back in this one with 10 minutes left on the clock. Baron, you think they can take over? Oh wow! I just noticed over on the far right, Baron, there's a whole bunch of anti-air and a few heavy tanks. You think they're going for a push over at the beach?
I definitely hope so, but right now I gotta say my eye is on the research facility. The Americans are pushing, but the Russians aren't giving up any ground.
Yeah, there is shots being fired right now over at the research facility. There's some air battles going on. Those they're heavy attack helicopters are going to be going into a whole bunch of anti-air fire. One of those is going to be taken out. We're having a push right now by the Soviets. They got a few heavy tanks and some anti-air. It's going to be working their way onto the beach, see if they can get into there. But there is an anti-tank fortification doing some counter-action right there, basically taking out those heavy tanks. They're going to be retreating right now.
Looks like the Soviets are sending in a heavy helicopter to the beach.
Yeah, indeed they are. There's one right over there in the spawn. It looks like he might be making his way over just to give some reinforcements, but that heavy attack helicopter that's there right now is getting hit pretty hard by that anti-air, so they're going to retreat and possibly come at a different angle, possibly on the side of the ocean up towards the beach. A whole bunch of shots being fired right now over at the research facility. There's a few heavy anti-airs just wiping things out, but they're going to be taken out of the round soon by a couple of anti-tanks. No, not anti-tanks, but some white tanks over at the research facility. Russians hold one half of the research facility. Looks like the United States is going to take the other half. We got about 8 minutes and 20 seconds left on the clock. Total domination bar is way over on the side of the United States. If they can hold the Soviets for just a little bit longer, they'll come out with a win on the first map, and then be in the driver's seat for the next two. You know, they only have to win one out of the next two, and that'll be definitely something easier. If you're just tuning in right now, this is Electronic Revolution's coverage of Total War World in Conflict. Tonight, as always, we have the 186th versus the 51st. Nothing really going on right now. They're just kind of feeling each other out for the first round, as most of these casts go. It's not really exciting in the first round, but you see the second round definitely coming to a lot of nukes and a lot of cluster bombs. The beach has now been taken over by the Russians due to some great guided artillery over on the first one. Now the second one's going to be wiped out with just a machine gun fortification. However, some heavy helicopters are going to be coming into there. Shots are going to be fired over at the beach. Those heavy tanks are going to be wiped out in just a bit, courtesy of those heavy helicopters. Some heavy anti-air now making its way in, so they cannot counteract those heavy helicopters with some medium ones with some Sidewinder missiles. As a whole bunch of bombs are being dropped right now over at the research facility. The Soviets are going to pick up one half. Basically, the Soviets and the United States just switched halves over at the research facility. We've got 7 minutes flat on the clock. If you guys have any shout-outs, get them in. Pound E-rev on the game search network to E-rev CSS 2020 with shout-outs at the end of my name. And we got about 4 heavy attack helicopters going to be making their way over to the beach as well. So it looks like the beach might be taken over anytime soon by the Soviets. Baron, you think they can do it with about 6 minutes and 40 seconds left on the clock?
Well, unless they get some anti-air up in there, it's not going to happen.
Man of many words, Baron is.
Well,
yeah,
you know,
basically.
straight to the point.
Yeah, basically right now it's definitely looking very good for the side of the United States. 186th looks like they're going to come out on top. There's about 6 minutes left on the clock. Total domination bar is heavily over on the side of the United States, or over on the side of the Soviets rather. The United States pushing very hard. There's about an inch left for the Soviets. They're going to have to make a pretty hard push up here at the research facility, and do a nice push at. Oh man, there it is. There's a nuke. Oh, that's 3.
That's 2.
I can't even get out of it. Oh, what happened? Yeah, that's 2 in the same spot. Oh man, and all of a sudden my FPS drops from a nice cool 120 to a nice 50. 2 nukes being dropped in the middle of the town square right now, but the 186 just gonna seal the deal for him right there, wiping out most. No, that was 3 nukes right there. I'm seeing 3 mushroom clouds. Wow. 3 nukes being dropped by the 186. That's basically going to wrap things up for this first round. Just putting the final touches on it. Wiping everything out. 5 minutes left on the clock. Soviets are on to their last breath. It's going to be over in any minute. Any first round thoughts, Baron, on what the Soviets can improve for next time, or what are you gonna think they can improve on, or you think the 186 is just going to take it the next round?
Well, the Russians, they need to move away from using so much infantry. It's just getting massacred in the city by their lighter units and their air force. Again, infantry's nice in the city when there's cover, but as we just saw, 3 nukes go off, thus eliminating all the cover. They need to move into more armor, maybe some more airborne.
And I gotta make a little side note right there. There's a few air bombs being dropped over at the research facility, and there it is. The United States wins with a total of with a win percentage of 100%. They beat the Soviets straight up, and there's about 4 minutes and 39 seconds left on the clock. Efficiency right there. Top rolls is infantry von Small with a 687 support, Desecrator with a 426 armor with a 617, and Air Trekker with a 420. Top 3 players is Raid JTC. I believe he dropped the 3 nukes with a score of 1,000. And 8 Von Small with a 912, and Big Cracker with an 855 on the 51st. So 286 players get in the top 3, and then rounding out the top 3 is Big Cracker on the side of the 51st. We're going to be resetting right now. I think I got a comment on, Baron. I don't know if you picked it up as we got a little time to talk about it right here. The detail that went into this game is just nuts. I was going to comment on how where 3 nukes dropped, there was just this massive crater and it looked like the moon. Did you get a chance to see that or just browse through the town? I mean, in the town there's papers flying all over the place and stuff, and it just looks like a ghost town. This game has extreme detail, and it's definitely one of the brighter points of the game.
Oh, the work put into just the textures is absolutely phenomenal. But if you look at the 3D mapping and just the modeling in this game, on the smaller details on armored vehicles, you got armor plates, you got smoke grenade launchers on the sides of the APCs. Just the detail alone is incredible.
Yeah, and also you can tell on this map the town is extremely detailed. Town Square just looks, like an actual park you would see in New York City. A la Central Park, and then out by the ocean you have a couple battleships, and you'll see them shooting off flat cannons every time. You'll see little flashes off from their flat cannons. It's just real detail. The water looks super good. It just looks like it's glossy. There's sand at the bottom with a whole bunch of rocks. And the detail that went into this game was extreme. I mean, the trees look perfect. Everything's spot on. I really have no complaints while looking at this game.
Yeah, I can't wait until I get myself a DirectX 10 card and get that dual screen running.
Yeah, definitely. I got an 8600 I bought recently, but nothing too big. It should have its own troubles with the DirectX 10 settings. But from what I'm hearing, it's more geared to DirectX 10, and DirectX 9 actually is more trouble with the card. I was reading that in CPU this month. That's the magazine I subscribe to for computer parts and stuff. We're waiting for the 51st right now to join up. Plexity's going to be joining up right now. So once the 51st gets in, we'll have your second round of action. If you guys have any shout-outs, you can get them in pound e-rev on the Game Surge Network to e-rev CSS 2020 with shout-outs at the end of my name. I'm going to check my shout-outs right now. Hold on 1 second as I minimize. Alright, in IRC, nothing really going on. Come on, guys, get those shout-outs in. I got one shout-out from Airborne. He's saying shout-out to Crazy, you're a sexy beast, and that's it. That's all we got for shout-outs on the IRC world. Airborne, not Airborne, Baron, anything going on interesting in the server right now as I get back in?
Well, 30 seconds to match start. And looks like some of the drop positions for the Russians are... I want to see what they get up to. They're definitely interesting.
Yeah, I really don't know how they're going to come back. Right now they're down 1 map to 0. If they lose this one, it's going to be GG all around. So they're going to have to do something pretty fast. Otherwise this one could be over pretty quick. It's 4, 3, 2, 1 right now, waiting for the match to start. Their units will be dropped as we speak. There is 19 minutes and 50 seconds left on the clock. It's 20-minute rounds right now. I mean, even getting back to the detail, just seeing the paratroopers and just the planes coming in that drop your infantry, and then how they slowly fade out, but you can still see them. They don't just disappear off the map. The detail of this game is ridiculous.
Yeah, I love how they changed it from the beta, when you would call in paratroops before. They'd come down in the same shipping crate the tanks did, and now they all parachute in individually.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, that's actually something I didn't pick up until tonight. I've seen it. It's just the detail that went into this game. It's extreme, and it's what makes the game so impressive to me. I mean, otherwise it could be compared to Company of Heroes, which is a good game by itself, but this just takes the graphics and the detail to the extreme. It's perfect in every way. Okay, so second round of play. We got about 18 minutes and 45 seconds left on the clock. Total domination bar dead even right now, a little bit on the side of the Soviets. Gas station is taken by the Soviets, so they're making a hard push right now with some heavy tanks into the gas station to get their early jump on the United States. Beach is controlled by the United States. Going into the overview of the map, Town Square is controlled by 2 points, I believe, is controlled by the United States, and then 1 point is controlled by the Soviets. Up at the research facility, Soviets have that, and they do, well, they did have the gas station The beach is covered by the United States as well with the supermarket. Soviets now take over all 3 points of the town squares. There's 18 minutes flat left on the clock. If you guys have any shoutouts, you can get them in pound e-rev on the Game Search Network to e-rev CSS 2020 with shoutouts at the end of my name. Nothing really going on right now. The United States just made a push up at the research facility.
The Russians
and
just
now
lost the
have
research facility.
Yep, that's what I was just gonna say. The United States made a hard push right there with some infantry and took the whole thing over. So research facility right now is in control of the United States, and there's that total domination bar going over on the side of the Soviets. So the United States making an early push right now, or actually the Soviets made an early push. United States had their forces stocked, I guess, waited on an extra respawn time, and definitely made a nice push over to the research facility and picked it up, as they're going to lose it right now, courtesy of a few light tanks on the Soviet side. However, they do have the other half, so we'll have to see how this one plays out. I believe there's a whole bunch of fire going on in the middle of town square right now. Heavy attack helicopters. They're going to try to weaken up those heavy tanks, as a bunch of heavy anti-air vehicles are going to come in right now and wipe out those choppers. So town square is going to be wide open courtesy of the air right there, and there's a whole bunch of heavy anti-air in the town. So if they can get a few heavy tanks in there, the 186th will definitely have control of town square and gain more control of this map, as already the total domination bar is over on the Soviet side. So Baron, any initial thoughts on the second round?
Well, I believe the Russians made a mistake rushing for the gas station after capturing the research facility. Their forces were weak by the time they got to the gas station. They were wiped out, and the Americans were able to come right back, capture the research facility, and now the Russians are sort of stuck in this hallway right down the middle of the map, and they have it coming from both sides.
And there it is. 51st is going to drop a tank buster over at the research facility, wiping out a few of the 186th tanks. Freed's going to call in the tank buster here now and counteract on MAV 22, and then a whole bunch of cluster bombs being dropped in the middle of town to take out a few of the 51st tanks. If you look over at the research facility, it should be interesting. There's about 6 or 7 groups of infantry going to be working their way into the research facility and trying to take those 2 points. Baron, you have any idea if that'll work for them? I'm seeing just regular infantry. If it was some anti-tank, I think they got a chance. But there's also some airborne infantry right now, so there's a battle going on over in the woods by the research facility. Baron, who do you think's going to come out on top on that one?
Well, luckily that napalm missed. Oh, 2 napalms, both missing their mark. One thing you got to remember with the infantry in anti-tank combat is it's definitely quantity over quality. If you can keep smashing that tank with anti-tank rockets, whether they be light anti-tank rockets or heavy anti-tank rockets, eventually you're going to kill the damn thing. Not only that, but regular infantry are also quite effective against air units.
Yep, this is definitely true, as 5 napalms were just dropped in the woods over there, so that's going to eliminate any Soviet forces. Basically, that airborne infantry for von Small is going to be working up. Precision artillery strike being dropped on the side of the 51st over at the research facility. So just everything being focused right now over there at the research facility, as another napalm is going to be weighed down, and a second, can third come? I'm waiting to see. Nope, we're not going to have a third one unless it comes in on the opposite side, but 3 napalms dropped again over at the research facility, just wiping out all of that infantry. There's a few heavy anti-air and a few repair tanks working up there as well. Otherwise, everything else on the map seems to be just pretty calm. TV station is on the side of the Soviets, town square is on the side of the Soviets, and then over on your outskirts of the map you have the beach controlled by the United States. The supermarket controlled by the United States, gas station is controlled by the U.S., and the research facility was controlled by them. Now the Soviets have just taken one half of it and looking to push over. They got a flank right now with about 4 groups of infantry over on the hills. They're going to be wiping out all that stuff, and yeah, so it should look like the Soviets are going to pick up that research facility. It might be too little too late right now, because the total domination bar is over very heavily on the side of the Soviets. So it looks like the United States definitely playing strong right now, as some smoke gas, some of that mustard gas or toxic gas or whatever it's called is going to be dropped in the woods, and it's going to wipe out a lot of the Soviets infantry, and I don't think they will be able to do that push that they want to do on the flank over the research facility. And as soon as I say that, the United States is now taking over total control of the research facility with 3 heavy tanks in the second spot. Most of the action going on over at the research facility. I mean, it's pretty dead over at the beach, and in the middle of town square right now, we got a push by 4 heavy tanks into the Soviet town square. Immediately, as soon as I say that, 5 heavy helicopters are going to wipe them out of the round. I'm going to check some shoutouts, Baron. Just, go with the flow and see if anything interesting happens. You got the call.
Well, I mean, the Russians are losing the research facility. They have 3 groups of infantry in the woods, but up against what looks to be 2 medium tanks and another infantry division. They don't have much going on. As I said that, the Russians decide to roll in 2 tanks to meet their 2 tanks. So it looks like the Russians are going to come out on top and capture 1/2 of the research facility. We got 3 heavy Russian helicopters just flying around the beach, taking a look around, the scenic route. And it looks like the Americans are making an attempt on town square.
Should be interesting. I got a shout out on IRC from Tomcat. He or she is saying go 186th. And another shout out from Airborne. He's saying tell everyone to check out the Total World in Conflict news site and the Total War tournament site. Check the URLs for that, or I'll have them to you later in the broadcast. I'm going to be getting back in this, not into the server, but into the game in just a bit. So Baron, continue.
Sounds like nukes. Correct me if I'm wrong, but oh no, sorry, enemy unit. I was concerned there. Oh wait, no. The nuke just went off in the woods and stuck a nuke right on TV station.
3 nukes. I think there's 4 nukes. Is there 4 nukes?
I count 2.
We're gonna have to see how many were just dropped. I think there's 2. Yep, there's been 2 nukes dropped. From, I believe that was the Soviets dropped those, or no, was that the United States again?
That was the United States.
Okay, well that's the United States again. Yep, we got 10 minutes of 50 seconds left on the clock. Total domination bar after those 2 nukes is completely over on the side of the United States. They're going to come out on top of this one. Probably 100% just total domination by them. I don't know if we're going to go into 5 or best of 5 format right now, but as we see it, the 186 is going to come out on top, counteracting the victory of the 51st last week by winning this week's matchup 2-0. So great play by the 186th all around. Baron, any final thoughts on this matchup?
Well, I mean, the USA cleaned it up in less than 10 minutes. That being said, the Russians put up one hell of a fight, but I believe it was that initial push to the gas station that really did it in for them.
Yep, and as we can see right now, the top 3 players, Desecrator 75, courtesy of those 2 nukes being dropped, he's going to take the top player honors with a score of 1,004. Mav 22 with a 737, and Freet with a 603, rounding out the top 3 players. On top roles, top infantry is Von Small with a 361. Support armor and air, however, going to the side of the 51st with Plaza Inc., Mav 22, and the Pi Spy. United States wins the second round by 100% with about 10 minutes left. I don't know if we're going to go into a best of 5 format. Baron, any other final thoughts you have?
Well, as far as final thoughts go, those 2 nukes were definitely final, dropping them right on the spawn points, just as a bunch of new Russian units were being dropped. Pretty much took the wind out of their sails, so to speak.
Looks like we're going to be going into another round. Yeah, we're going to be doing 3 rounds. So, yeah, another round coming your way, I guess. If you guys have any shots, you can get them into e-rev on the Game Surge network to e-rev CSS 2020 with shoutouts at the end of my name. We'll be getting into Spectator in just a bit. Hold on. Alright, I'm set right now. Just waiting on the teams to join. We're going to do one more round. However, the 186 is going to come out victorious tonight. No matter what, 2 maps to 1 or 3 maps to 0. Match is going to be starting in 14 seconds. Hopefully the 51st can get their 2 other guys in here. Otherwise, they're going to come to a little delayed start. Yeah. There's Seal coming in So hopefully the 51st can get all their players in time and be able to play pretty much evenly. I don't know if it's going to happen because already the United States is dropping in their infantry over by the gas station. They're going to be coming in, and then here comes the tanks and the support vehicles. So Soviets are going to start out man down. They only have 5 players. The United States does have 6. So I'm going to say automatically, with already 19 minutes and 30 seconds left on the clock, that the United States is going to take this one. Baron, you have any predictions?
Well, seeing the performance of the United States in the last 2 rounds, it's going to be hard for me to say go motherland, but, you know, I like to spice it up a bit. I like to create a little drama, so I'm going to go with the Russian. They're going to roll across the United States homeland, and, you know, maybe that's just wishful thinking. What if I am a communist?
Well, as we can see right now, another push from the 51st, just like Baron said, motherland. They're going to be making a hard push again over to the gas station. Can they get it? I don't know. It didn't work for them last time. Maybe they're going to actually retreat this time. That would be smart play by them. They're going to be pushing with some heavy tanks and some medium tanks. I don't think they're going to get through, however. And they're just going to hold on the research facility right now. Smarter play on the side of the 51st. Basically, initial thoughts, gas stations held by the 186th, supermarkets held by the United States, and the beach is held by the 186th. Over at the research facility, we have the 51st. They have the control of that. They have control of town square, and they have control of the TV station. It goes 3 and 3 on this map, basically, and whoever can take the research facility, town square, or beach is going to come out on victorious. We got about 18 minutes left on the clock. Total domination bar is pretty much dead even. It's on the side of the Soviets. United States gained a couple points by taking taking 1 point over at the research facility. And now all of a sudden, with a strong push, the United States is in control of the TV station. That total domination bar is flying over onto the side of the Soviets. It might just be a quick work match right here, Baron. But nope, the United States is going to be taking out the TV stations, so that should stop, and the bleed should go a little bit slower. But all of a sudden, if an artillery strike comes down for the Soviets, and the United States can take the TV station, it looks like it's going to be GG fast for the 51st. Baron, you seen anything interesting up there over at the research facility?
Well, it looks like the Americans are making a push. The best I can see is they have what appears to be 2 light tanks. The Russians have 1 light tank, which just got blowed up, 2 repair units, and a medium helicopter. But, oh no, sorry, medium anti-air vehicle. The Americans are trying. They're trying their best, but I mean, I don't know if they can handle the Russian steel.
Blood and iron policy as well. Anyway, getting back into the action right now. We got about 16 minutes left on the clock. United States in heavy control of that total domination bar, and it's going pretty fast in favor for them. They have the TV station, I believe. No, they do not. They have the research facility, however, and they have control of town square. So it's just like they have the research, not the research, but the TV station. As a fuel air bomb has been dropped in the middle of town, blowing up that whole block of buildings on the left side. United States is just flying through this right now. It's taking away rapidly on the side of the Soviets. They're going to have to make a pretty hard push right now, as the United States has now taken the TV station. And there goes that total domination bar, going about 1.5 centimeters every 2 seconds. It's going to be GG all around already with about 15 minutes left on the clock. 100% victory for the United States. That was definitely a fast one, Baron. Any final thoughts?
Oh man, I'm speechless how quickly that ended. Less than 5 minutes.
Yes, 4 minutes and 9 seconds that one lasted. Not a very good hold by the Soviets right there. So the 186 is going to come out victorious tonight, 3-0. Baron, any final thoughts on the whole matchup as we get ready to close things out?
Best of 7?
No, I don't think we're going to go into best of 7.
Well, you know, you can always wish. The Russians, they just didn't have it tonight. I don't know what was missing. Whether it was their teamwork was off, or I don't know, I think they were feeling a little too ambitious at the beginning of each round.
Yeah, I think they had good intentions. You know, they did start out strong. They made quick pushes over at the research facility, and then you know, all of a sudden it just fell through for them. They pushed too hard, and it just collapsed. They didn't have anything to back it up, and that's basically their problem. I think if they would have waited a little longer and came more of as a whole instead of a bunch of individuals, as most team games and most team sports are, I think they would have came out victorious. Any comments on what I just said there, Baron? You agree or disagree?
I completely agree. Your armor, your air, your artillery, and your infantry all need to work together. That's why you have this, you know, this variety of unit selection. You got to work as a team. You can't just send all your tanks to the beach and then send your air force to the research facility. If you don't work as a cohesive unit, you're going to get blown blown to bits with, you know, 3 nukes as we've seen today.
Yep, 3 nukes, the name of the game. It always seems to be a nuke fest, nuclear warfare, however you want to put it, on the side of the 186th, or a counter sometimes as well for the motherland, as Baron would say. But that's going to wrap things up for us tonight. 186th winning convincingly over the 51st. They're going to gain more ground in the Total War World and Conflict demo, at least. World and Conflict does come out, I believe, next Monday. Or Tuesday of next week, so watch out for the full release. Definitely go pick that up. I'll have a copy as well, and we'll have more and more casts. We'll start getting into, you know, Cal, and as always, doing the Total War series for at least World and Conflicts. We might go into the Battlefield series, or, you know, possibly something else for them. But if you're just tuning in right now, you did miss the action. You'll have to catch the action on the recap. But final score is the 186 3 maps. 51st did not pick up a round victory tonight. Just didn't work for him tonight. But hey, what are you gonna do? You have your good and you have your bad. You know, just take them as they come. Baron, any last words before we get off the air here?
You know what? Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure having the opportunity to cast this match, and I hope I can do it again sometime.
Yeah, we'll definitely have you around on some more World and Conflict casts. Shanks and Connor should be back, everyone. It was just to fill in for tonight, but you might see me again as well with Baron in the near future for World and Conflict. But as for now, 186 comes out on top, 3 maps to 0 over the 51st, and that's going to wrap tonight's coverage of Total War World and Conflict by Electronic Revolution. Make sure you idle and perform pound e-rev on the Game Surge Network, and always check out our website at www.e-rev.tv on the World Wide Web. Signing off for Baron, this is Travis 2020. He's saying Electronic Revolution, Viva la Revolution.